Have you ever noticed how right after a period of great pressure or emotional stress, you tend to get sick? That stubborn cold that won't go away, the allergy that suddenly flares up, or even that chronic pain that lights up like an alarm after weeks of overload. It is no coincidence. It is not just the universe conspiring to bring you down. It is, in fact, the silent, visceral language of two of your most vital systems, the nervous system and the immune system, in a continuous and, under chronic stress, deeply exhausting dialogue. If you live with persistent anxiety that affects the quality of your sleep, or with tiredness that seems to inflame every muscle and joint in your body, know that this is the hidden pain of a body that is constantly at war, even when there is no visible enemy. Your body is fighting against itself, in a vicious cycle where stress feeds inflammation, and inflammation, in turn, increases anxiety and exhaustion. To understand the depth of this impact, we need to look at stress not as a feeling, but as a biological event. When you feel stressed, whether it's the fear of a predator, or worry about a bill, your sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight mode, is activated. Immediately, it releases the chemical cocktail of survival: adrenaline, for quick action, and cortisol, the hormone that, among other functions, regulates inflammation. In a situation of acute, real stress, cortisol plays a crucial role in the immune system. It acts as a temporary handbrake on inflammation. This is intelligent. If you get injured while running from the predator, you need the inflammation, which is the healing process, not to be exaggerated. Cortisol ensures the body can use all its energy to survive first. The body takes a maintenance break to prioritize escape. But what happens when stress is not a 5-minute event, but a reality of months or years? When your boss, your screen, or your financial worries are your daily predator. In this scenario of chronic stress, the system is repeatedly flooded with cortisol, and the immune system, just as your body becomes addicted to adrenaline, begins to become resistant to cortisol. Imagine an alarm that rings all day. Over time, you just stop hearing it. Your body develops what we call cortisol resistance. The hormone that should act as a powerful anti-inflammatory to calm things down loses its effectiveness. This is a major turning point in your health, because the immune cells are no longer listening to the signal to quiet down. They maintain their battle readiness, even when the immediate threat is gone. The result is devastating. The immune system becomes uncontrolled. It continues to produce and release inflammatory molecules such as pro-inflammatory cytokines without the proper break. It is as if your defense system became hyperactive and nearsighted. It begins to see threats everywhere inside you. Chronic stress turns you into a low-intensity fire, which manifests as chronic systemic inflammation. And chronic systemic inflammation is not just a fancy medical word. It is the root of countless modern diseases. It is the silent link between your persistent anxiety and your physical problems. This is the background noise that whispers disease into your cells. This uncontrolled inflammatory response is the central mechanism through which a constantly triggered nervous system harms your entire physical structure. The continuous flow of stress signals essentially keeps the immune system on a state of red alert, consuming vital resources and misdirecting its powerful arsenal. This is why you feel that constant deep-seated ache. It's not just muscle tension from a bad posture, it's the physical manifestation of cellular unrest. Your body is exhausting itself, not from work, but from its own misguided defense. Furthermore, this inflammatory overload specifically compromises the body's ability to heal and repair itself. When inflammation is chronic, the systems responsible for tissue maintenance, detoxification, and cellular renewal are perpetually sidelined. Think of it as diverting all power to the emergency lights, leaving the life support systems running on minimal battery. This constant drain contributes to a faster aging process and a decline in overall physical resilience, leaving you vulnerable to opportunistic infections because your resources are spent fighting internal shadows. This relentless inflammatory pressure, triggered by emotional stress, also impacts how you process pain. Inflammation increases the sensitivity of your pain receptors, meaning a minor ache feels like a major problem. Your nervous system is now hypersensitized. It interprets normal sensations as painful or threatening, further reinforcing the loop of anxiety and stress. This is the biological trap where a tense mind literally creates a painful body, solidifying the cycle of suffering. If you identify with this exhaustion that seems to come from within, or with health problems that seem linked to your mind, subscribe. Let's continue to explore how to disarm this internal ticking time bomb. How does this silent chronic inflammation, driven by nervous system dysregulation, manifest in your daily life? First, in your mental health. Pro-inflammatory cytokines do not just stay in your blood. They cross the blood-brain barrier and directly affect your brain. The inflammation they cause, often called neuroinflammation, is deeply linked to chronic anxiety, depression, and brain fog. These inflammatory agents interfere with neurotransmitter function, reducing the availability of mood regulators like serotonin. This means your brain is not only overwhelmed by stress signals, but is also chemically handicapped from producing feelings of well-being. Your mental state is, literally, a reflection of your body's inflammatory state. Second, it attacks your gut. The gut is where a large part of your immune system lives. The constant stress and the inflammation that accompanies it destroy the integrity of the intestinal barrier, leading to the feared leaky gut. This allows toxins and undigested food particles to enter the bloodstream, and your immune system panics, attacking. The result? More inflammation, more digestive problems like IBS, and, as the gut is connected to the brain by the vagus nerve, more gut-related anxiety. It is a constant negative feedback loop that ties your digestion directly to your mood. Third, it drains your vital energy. You feel always tired, but your body is not resting. It is fighting internally. Chronic inflammation is metabolically expensive. It consumes the energy that should be used for mental clarity and physical vitality. It is the true engine behind adrenal exhaustion or chronic fatigue that sleep cannot solve. This is why no amount of caffeine seems to help. You are not suffering from a lack of wakefulness, but from an internal cellular battle that is stealing your fundamental reserves. The path to reversing this destructive cycle is not just about focusing on eliminating stress, which is impossible, but rather on re-regulating the response of your nervous system so that it stops constantly signaling danger. We need to restore your body's sensitivity to cortisol and give the handbrake back to your immune system. This begins with somatic work and vagus nerve restoration. The vagus nerve is the conductor of your parasympathetic system, the rest and digest mode, and it is a powerful natural anti-inflammatory. When the vagus nerve is activated and toned, it releases acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter that, among other functions, can decrease the production of pro-inflammatory cytokines and modulate the immune response. This is known as the cholinergic anti-inflammatory pathway. It's your body's sophisticated internal mechanism to cool the flames of systemic inflammation. This is your internal pharmacy of calm and healing. How do we activate the vagus nerve and break the inflammatory anxiety cycle? Begin with lengthening the exhale, which we have already mentioned, but add box breathing. Inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4. The rhythm and the pause send a message of deep safety to your body, calming the heart rate and stimulating the vagus nerve. Another powerful technique of regulation and anti-inflammation is mild cold exposure. It doesn't have to be an extreme ice bath. Ending your shower with 30 seconds of cold water on your face and neck, where the vagus nerve is superficial, is a gentle shock that tones the vagal response. It teaches your body to recover quickly from stress and activates its anti-inflammatory capacity. The singing, humming, and vigorous gargling are also simple and scientifically proven tools. The vibration of these actions stimulates the vagus nerve fibers deep in your throat, releasing acetylcholine and restoring your internal regulation. You may also want to explore gentle movements that facilitate what is called somatic discharge. This involves allowing the trapped survival energy to safely exit the muscles and fascia. Simple, shaking or rocking, as we mentioned before, is an instinctive way to complete the stress cycle. By allowing your body to gently move and tremor, you signal to your nervous system that the danger is definitively past, lowering the internal state of alarm and, consequently, dampening the immune overreaction. You already felt the immediate relief of a deep sigh or a gentle hum in a moment of tension. Share it in the comments. Perhaps someone needs to read your experience of how these small acts of regulation work. The cure for chronic inflammation and anxiety is not just in a supplement or a restrictive diet. It is in restoring the communication between your heart, your brain, and your gut, orchestrated by a calm nervous system. By consistently practicing nervous regulation, you are not just calming yourself down, you are decreasing cellular inflammation, healing your gut, and restoring the clarity and resilience of your brain. You are strengthening your immune system, teaching it to respond intelligently instead of overreacting to all the false alarms of modern life. The constant stress breaks the body down at a cellular level. Intentional calm rebuilds it. The final message is one of profound encouragement. The invisible symptoms you are feeling, the anxiety, the exhaustion, the aches are just the biological proof that your body is fighting bravely, but needs a new strategy. It needs safety and genuine rest. Honor your need for peace. Use your breath as your most powerful healing tool. Remember that every conscious choice to activate rest mode is a powerful anti-inflammatory act that protects your body against disease. You can interrupt this cycle and reclaim your health, energy, and tranquility. Trust your body's innate capacity to balance and flourish.